Thank you, Shailaja, for inviting. And just a quick reminder, if your children are around, why don't you help them join this session, because it's going to be very, very helpful to them. And let me get started. Yeah. So today, let us talk about how we can raise happy and healthy kids. See, when we have our little bonds, when they are born, parenting actually is something which is an active process. It is a journey, and it doesn't come with a manual, right? And there will be a lot many challenges considering every phase of their life, when they are youngsters, when they enter into preteens, when they enter into teenage, and the life goes on. So how we can handle our kids with practical tips, what I'll be sharing with you, and how we can work on their nutrition and food. Because see, kids, we just don't want to be them healthy. That's one aspect, but we want them to be responsible and balanced adults. So how can we do that? Let us find out. So I will be covering today four pillars of how we can raise healthy and happy kids. You can think these pillars as the roots of a tree. Okay, so if one pillar becomes a little shaky, it is definitely going to impact the other pillars. So when we work on all of these four pillars of raising healthy kids, you are going to have a nourished and flourished child. But why do we have to build on these healthy habits? See, good habits are formed in the early years of their age. And when you start building their habits from the early age, you will see that they will be successful in their future years. All right. So, habits that are formed in the younger years will be there with them for the entire life. Trust me. Simple habit, let it be good or bad, that they are going to carry it on to their lifelong. And this is going to be the base or the foundation for them to be successful in their future. So, what is happening in today's world? See, we live in an era wherein, everything is, instant. We are speed eaters and grazers. If if we rewind our story back when we were growing up, see, we were not exposed to a lot of processed foods. Or if you consider our parents' age, nothing was there in their age. No processed, nothing junk. Even the oils what they used was cold pressed. Right. So the changing diets which has happened from the past so many years, we really are in a situation, or we are stuck in this situation wherein inculcating good habits to our children has become a little bit of a challenge. Okay. As well as, having home cooked meals at least two times in a day together on a dining table, or maybe having without your gadgets and this also has become challenging, because children are much more busier than us, right? And we being living in a nuclear family, giving them time becomes a challenge, right? So how can we, uh, through our time management as well as their time management, how we can build healthy habits is what I will be covering. Second thing is, today's food is being laden with a lot of chemicals, pesticides, herbicides, you name it, it is there in the food. And so much of sugars, so much of sugars are there in each and everything what we are eating today. And the sad thing about today's life is, we as parents, as well as children, as we are exposed to a lot of, social media and mass media, we rely on the advertisements, on the heroes or the actors. They are endorsing some brand, you eat this cereal, your child will be healthy. You eat this, or you drink this, drink, your child is going to be having good health, and the bone structure is going to improve. We are relying on these things. Trust me, if you get back to your coach or the person who has invited you, they are the right people who are going to guide you on what to eat and what not to eat, you know. So first, let me help you on what are the common additives present in children's food today, especially when children are exposed to a lot of candies, jams, they show these coated wala nuts which are dipped in chocolate flavor and all, and we easily give them, right? Or say you have guests coming in home, and what they do when they know there are children at your place, first thing is they bring a chocolate, and or a box of chocolate or a box of sweets, but realize that maybe they are doing it out of love, out of their heart, but it is going to impact on the children's health. So, what are the common additives? Let me help you understand, and where all are they present? Firstly, we have these artificial colors. See, if you have, you see these chocolates and gems and so many things. Every chocolate has a color associated with it. It's been coated. So the common colors are your red, your yellow, and blue. They are numbered. I'll also teach you how we can read nutritional labels in the coming slides. Okay. So what do these artificial colors do is they are going to make that product very appealing and enhancing, So children, when they see a lot of colors, right, they just want to grab it. If you take them to a supermarket, they'll first go in the chocolate counter, कि मम्मा मुझे ये दिला दो, right? But what are the side effects of it is super linked to your hyperactivity and behavioral issues. If you have observed your children when they eat a lot of sugary foods, they become super active. I mean to say, not active in the active way, but their hyperactivity increases, and that is only for a couple of hours because sugars shoot up into your bloodstream, right? And after the dosage reduces in the brain, what happens? See, the child becomes very cranky, right? And it wants to eat again another piece of chocolate or another piece of sugar, right? So this is what happens with artificial colors. Same goes with your high fructose corn syrup. This is a sweetener, okay? It is made from cornstarch and it is added to, increase the sweetness in the food rather than using natural flavors. Okay, so it's majorly present in your cookies and your granola bars, but it could increase the weight of your child. So the ideal weight may not be there if they are having a lot of HSCF. Fatty liver is something can happen in the early ages for the child, as well as children could have type 2 diabetes also. I have someone in my distant relative. She is now in her teens, and for her, type 1 diabetes started when she was somewhere in 10th grade. So she is still on insulin shots. Can you believe that? Hmm? There's something called as MSG. Now, this is monosodium glutamate. This is majorly present in all of your Chinese foods, your fast foods, in your snacks, your processed meats. If you have observed, whenever we eat this hotel ka khana, we again feel like eating it more because they have MSG in that. It's an addiction. That's why it's called as additives there. Okay. So when we have MSG present in our foods, many a times we do face headaches or vomiting sensation, or some kids could be allergic to that also. Next, we have is something called as artificial sweetener. We have something called as sucralose. See, if you are reading a nutritional label, anything that ends with OSE, it is a type of sugar. So be aware and just be mindful about it, because when sugars enter into our body, it can impact your gut health as well as the appetite regulation drops down. So if you have seen children who eat a lot of sugars and a lot of candies and granola bars, cookies and all, always they are constipated, or the diarrhea is happening, or loose motion is happening, something is or bloaty or gassy feeling is happening with the kids' health. It is all because of the additives present in that. Similarly, we have something called as BHA and BHT. These are preservatives which are used to increase the shell life of that particular product. Because if you want a chocolate, if you make a homemade chocolate, it maybe retains only for 3 to 4 days or for a week. But when you see on the shelf, right, in the market area, they are for so many long duration of time. That's because they are having BHA and BHT in them. But this can impact the hormonal health of the child. And then we have the emulsifiers. What do they do? See, basically, when they are making a product, a candy or anything, normally you'll be having oil and water, but oil and water don't blend together, right? So emulsifiers are used for the blending of that. Okay, but and where do you find it? You find it in ice creams and chocolates and these flavored yogurts and puddings and cakes and pastries. All of that have emulsifiers which can impact severely your gut health and increase the inflammation and as well as ulcers in your stomach. All right. We have another set of additives. Now, these I will be talking more on containers. Okay, the takeaway foods what we have. We have something called as BPA. Now, what is this BPA and where is it found? See, BPA is found in a lot of plastic material or plastic containers. They actually harden the plastic containers. Okay, so if you see during our times when our mothers fed us, they never used plastic bottles. It was very rare to use plastic bottles. They used to always feed us with, a steel container. The babies I'm talking about. But these days, you have these fancy baby bottles, the sipping cups, the water which they sip in. The tiffin boxes of children are also plastic with, all the cartoon characters on that and making it so fancy. The water bottles are also so fancy. But mind you, what happens with the BPAs is, the food leaching happens and it enters into your bloodstream and it would cause, the hormone disruption. What exactly happens with BPA is it creates fake estrogen. Estrogen is a female hormone in the body. So when there is mimicking happening of the estrogen in the female's body, if you have observed in your friends or family, the young girls, they are attaining the early puberty. I have seen with my own sisters and their daughters, the early puberty is happening with them so early. That's because of all of these plastics what we have been using every single day in our life. Okay, second additive what we have is phthalates. Now, what are these phthalates? These again are found in your plastic packaging. Okay, as well as the toys what we give to the babies, the squishy toys or the inflatable toys, even in the nail polish. Girls love to decorate themselves, right? So the nail polish, the perfumes, the hairsprays, everything has phthalates. But how is it going to impact is, see, it can impact the male genetical development. Okay, as well as it increases obesity, the metabolic function, and it could impact cardiovascular system. Now, this I would like to share one story. I just saw it on Facebook. I'm associated with my school group, right? And one of my old sir, he posted RIP of one student who just finished his 10th grade. Okay, and he passed away. Just imagine he's just 15 years old and he passed away. And when we inquired, they told me it was some heart issue. Can you believe he's 15 years old and he had a heart issue and he passed away? So we have to be very, very careful what goes exactly into our children's food. Then we have the PFCs. Now, what are these? PFCs are nothing but again the containers what I'm talking about. See, when you order outside food, food is always going to be greasy or oily or it is going to leak out, right? But when they package it in such a way, see, the grease is not coming out. Correct. Or you order those pizzas, right? Pizzas or the popcorns. Popcorns do have oil or butter in them. It is not chipkofying to that container. Means that oil is not coming out. Correct. It's not soaking in. That's because you have the PFC in them because they are grease proof. But because of this usage, the child could face immunity issues in the future. Fertility issues could happen, as well as it will definitely impact your thyroid hormone, which takes care of our metabolism, as well as brain health and bone strength. The next three sets of additives, what are added or which are there in the containers again here is something called as percolate. Now, what is this percolate? This is majorly found in baby foods, okay, as well as in fruits and vegetables, especially in your leafy greens. This is because of the contaminated water which is used for farming practices there. But what could it do is, again, as I said, it could impact my thyroid health, and early development of your brain could be a little dicey there. Then we have the food colors, which I covered earlier. So food colors, as I said, they cause a lot of hormonal disruption, as well as the child's attention and behavior could change. So it's found in mostly in your candy, cereals, your juice drinks, your baked goods, all of these, as well as salad dressings. Again, be mindful if you're giving salads to your child, prepare homemade salad dressing. Don't give the fancy mayonnaise or anything of that sort. Your coach is there to guide you how you can prepare homemade salad dressings. And the last one, what we have is this nitrates and nitrites. Now, again, this is a preservative, this is an enhancer. Okay, this is majorly used in your processed meat. So when you go to this KFC or any of these, branded, hotels, many of the children, what I have seen, they usually order this chicken popcorns or something related to non-veg. But non-veg is highly being processed there, and it contains nitrates. Now, what exactly happens with your body is it is linked to tumors in your digestive system and your nervous system. And there's something called as methemoglobinemia. What I mean by this is these are nothing but this is a type of anemia which happens in their body for babies as well as toddlers as well as certain kids. The see our blood carries oxygen, right? So it when we are having this specific type of anemia, the blood is actually feeling very tired, fatigue the cells basically to carry the oxygen to your body. That's why when kids eat a lot of sugary foods, they feel very fatigued and tired because they are having nitrates in them. So these were the additives. Now, when we have takeout foods, see, everybody loves hotel ka khana once in a blue moon, right? But we should also be aware ki what is there in this outside food. As I said, when we take takeouts, when we order food through Zomato or any of these, ordering sites, they come in plastic containers or they come in aluminum foils. See, imagine, your food when it comes in a plastic container. Imagine your food, it has been placed in a pool of plastic. Would you like to eat that food which is present in a big pool of plastic? What you're doing is you're eating plastic itself, right? Similarly, you can imagine your body as a racing car. See, if you want to be in a F1 formula driving race, okay, and you want to drive your car, would you like to put all sodas and fried food and all junk food as a fuel to it, or do you want to put healthy food in that? Always remember this. Okay, so when we take these takeouts, they are again having all those additives what I mentioned you earlier, the BPS, the phthalates, and all, and they get leached into the food, and that is what we are eating. And imagine how much of hormonal disruption is happening within your body, as well as the foods which the hotelers buy. I have a wholesale vendor here, fruit and vegetable vendor. He keeps all those purana wala fruits and vegetables outside for lesser price. And you know who buys that? All these hotel people. They buy all this purana wala stuff. And this is what we are eating, thinking that, and we are spending so much of money on this hotel wala khana. And we really don't know what kind of oil they are using because they use hydrogenated oils. And they use the cooked oil again and again and again till the oil gets over. Same goes with your potato chips. If you have seen those hot chips wala centers and all, that oil is so black, right? Similarly, they add a lot of MSGs. Even the non-veg, I have seen the same thing, when I went to buy to that vendor had kept aside a certain meat there, and he's like, this is for again for the hotel walas. I will give you the fresh cut. That is what he told. So just be mindful about that when you're eating outside khana, as well as when the hotelers are cooking, they don't cook in small portions. They are going to cook in mass. That too, their preparation starts from the morning. Okay, unlike us, we prepare our food then and there. Correct. So that's the beauty about home cooked food, because you know what are the portions you're going to use. You're cooking it fresh. Okay. As well as the oil used is in your control, not in other people's control. And best thing what you can do is whenever you have time, as well as when your child is having time, why don't you include them along with you for home cooking? This is what I have been doing with my daughter also, and I have made her very independent now, and she cooks by herself. She's 16 years old now, and I'm very happy that she can cook at least the basics. Okay, so home cooked has its own flavors and its own benefits. And the benefits are multifold. Though, we are teaching them now, but you will reap the awards in the later ages. Okay. So next is something very, very interesting. What I would like to talk about is soil depletion, which has been talked very less. See what is happening in today's world. Say you might say, "अरे मैं तो घर का खाना ही खाती हूँ, फिर भी my child is falling sick. They are having often frequently falling, having a fever or cold, and whenever there is a change in the season, right? There's a transit. Now see, we jump from winter season to summer season, and now in Bangalore we are having rains, you know. And what is exactly happening here is, see, from the past 30, 40 years, our soil has been degraded. There's a depletion, almost 30 to 40% in the soil. What I mean by depletion is due to afforestation, due to, the poor soil management services, overgrazing, many things. Now, so recently, if you have heard about that Hyderabad news, they cut out a big portion of forest. Just 15, 20 days back story this is. And why? Because these IT people wanted to build a IT park there. And they did a lot of deforestation. So because of that, what is happening? The soil is losing its nutritional value totally. So the fruits and vegetables what I'm eating today, thinking that it is healthy, actually soil में ही दम नहीं है. So how are the nutrients going to come to my fruits and vegetables? So what I'm doing is I'm just eating for my taste buds. That's it. As well as most of us, we live in metros. We don't live in remote villages or anything, right? So as we are living in metros, nothing is grown here as such, isn't it? The farmers, they transport the fruits and vegetables when they are not ripe. Okay, so the ripening happens in the transportation. By the time it reaches the vendor, I buy from the fruit vendor. I put it, I dump it in the fridge. I take it out maybe after 2, 3 days. I chop it, I cut it. What is left in that particular fruit and vegetable? It's you to decide about it. Okay, so right from the farm to the table, nutritional value is dropping down, dropping down, dropping down. As well as our cooking methods are so different. Are you cooking on high flame? Are you reheating it all the time? How are you chopping it? All these matters here. So the farming practices also matter here, because these days farmers don't follow the old methods of farming, right? That is the rotational farming, or leaving the farmland for a year or so that the soil has been, regained its value. Nothing is being done because they want to produce and produce and produce more, adding more fertilizers to it. See, if you see the carrot size now and the carrot size what we ate in our childhood, or the palak, or all these vegetables, they are grown in hyper size. How they were when we ate them as kids and how they are now, is a drastic adulteration that has happened. So why do we need nutrition for kids? Right? It's not just avoiding junk food here, you see. We have to give fuel to our child. And fuel is going to come from the right food. And balancing both the food and nutrition together is going to make you a healthy child. So that even if they are falling sick, their immunity is building up. So when they fall sick, maybe 2 to 3 days, if they are taking time, that's absolutely fine. And if you could avoid the antibiotics, and if they are able to survive without antibiotics, that's the best thing. So what all nutrition you can add up to your kids? See, basically, I'll tell you how should be the food plate of a child or even a parent. See, your half of your plate, almost 40 to 50% plate, should be filled with fruits and vegetables. Okay, because the more colors you add to their plate, it is very, it's visuals always for children. They like something which is attractive, which is colorful, right? So add more colors to their plate. Do include good fiber rich carbohydrates in their plate, as well as good protein and good fat. So how much protein does a child require? See, ideal, considering their ideal weight, say if they are 40 kgs or 50 kgs, it's 1 gram per kg. And if they are athlete or if they are in sports, it will be 1.5 gram. Okay, why proteins we need to include is because they are the building blocks of your body. Your hair, skin, nail, the the enzymes, the hormones, everything requires proteins. And see, the kids' lining of the digestive tract is replaced every 6 days a week, and their skin is replaced every 28 days, and bones every 7 years. So be thoughtful what proteins you're giving to your child, because the veg proteins, what we have, the pulses, lentils, all of that, they are referred always to as incomplete proteins. And the non-veg proteins, what we have, they are called as complete proteins. But non-veg also these days is not really healthy, or the way it is being processed is really not healthy. So again, I urge you to get back to your coach. They will guide you on that. Do include multivitamins in your child's diet. A recommended multivitamin should have at least 12 vitamins and minerals. This is a combination of, because see, I cannot eat every day so many fruits and vegetables, right? You can accompany it with a nutrition pack there. Considering omega 3s, these are your good fats. This is present in all of your nuts, your seeds, your ghee, butter, dairy. All this has good omega 3s. Even fish has omega 3. So it should be in a ratio of 2 is to 1. Okay. See, you have the bad omegas also, the omega 6, which is deep fried. So just stay away from that. Vitamin C and vitamin B, these are water soluble vitamins which don't get produced in our body, and children need it every single day. So how much of vitamin C? Vitamin C, why do we need it? Because it's for immunity, of course, definitely. But it also helps in the formation of your collagen. That is your bones, your skin, your tissues, your cartilage, your organs, all require vitamin C, and repairing of your gums and teeth and tissues. And calcium, very much needed for the younger kids, because your bone development happens till the age of 13 or 14. So in the primitive years, in their formative years, if you give them good source of calcium present in a lot of greens or tofu or paneer, that will be helpful along with a nutrition supply to them. So around 1 to 5 years of kids, they require around 800 milligrams, 6 to 10 requires till 1200, and teens around 1500. So this is about the nutrition part. Now, coming to what all we can do as parents. So, first of all, increase, as I said, the fiber content in them. You can give them a lot of fruits and veggies every single day. Give fruit as a snack, okay, rather than giving instant foods like Maggie's, pastas, or that ready-made food walas, avoid it. Or you can give them nuts or seeds soaked wala as snack. Hmm? Try to avoid processed food as much as possible, and start their breakfast with a savory breakfast, not a sweet sugary breakfast at all. Okay. And reduce the sugar intake as much as possible. Then another tip, as I was talking to you about, is helping them read the nutritional labels. As I said, all your nutritional labels at the back side, you have to read what all other contents, especially when you buy the processed foods. If you're planning to maybe once in a blue moon to them, check out, does it has emulsifiers, additives, preservatives, and check on the sugar content. If the sugar is less than, or the carbohydrate content, if it is less than 10 grams, then you can go ahead and buy it. Okay. And always, you know, include your kids in vegetable shopping. This I had been doing with my daughter, and she will always pick up vegetables which I don't like because she loves those. So that is how, you're building a bond also with them, and they get a right, because when they see so many colors, they want to try out many things. So it's nice to have your children taking them to market, and also you're giving them a little bit of financial knowledge. Ye itne ka hai, itne ka hai. So you can make them knowledgeable on the money spent, need and want. Okay, do we really need it, or do I want it? Okay. And coming to the next pillar, this is the favorite one, exercise. Why do we have to make our kids exercise? See, if you see, when during our time, we never had gadgets. No screens were very less. We had the only television, and I think the channels came later. We had only one Doordarshan channel, which we used to watch every Sunday, because 10 to 11 was the cartoon time, and some half an hour something used to be. But in today's world, if you go to see, a teenager is spending a minimum average of 6 hours on the screen. And toddlers, especially between 0 to 5 years, See, it's again boiling down to parents. When they are feeding their child, mobile dikhate, ye dekho, they show them rhymes and all, and they're so addicted to that mobile, they don't want to give the mobile to their parent back. Have you seen that? I have seen that in many, many houses. So the screen time is so much exposed these days for children. It will impact your brain health. The cognitive functionality impacts very, very badly. That is, we have something called as the prefrontal cortex, which is the CEO of your brain. It takes care of your focus, your attention, the memory, the ability to plan, to decide on the whenever there is a situation. How is the child going to, you know, handle the situation? So when we have less screen time, your child is going to perform better. Similarly, we have something called as the parietal lobe, which is going to help the processing of the touch, the direction, navigation, and hand-eye coordination. If you remember, in our childhood, we used to play all these, hand games and lagori. We used to play kho because there was a lot of coordination happening with the hands and eyes. But are the children playing in today's world? I don't think so. But if you ask them to do that, they are always going to first say, "Are you playing? Are you, yeah, are you exercising?" Okay, so what are the benefits here? It's not only about the physical benefits which you're going to get, but it's going to be the cognitive improvement, the mental health, because it boosts your happy hormones, that is the dopamine and endorphins, as well as it builds your social skills too. Okay, and there's something called as hippocampus. The hippocampus is nothing but it's in the brain, which is going to help you in the learning, the development of your memory and emotions. And this increases as and when you exercise. So this was about exercise. And last and most important thing is stress management here. So
Triveni, sorry to
yes,
interrupt you. I think stress management is a topic
yes,
by itself. You can take it up
yeah.
maybe some other time.
Sure, Ravi. So I would like to cover something about League of Young Leaders here. This is a wonderful program what we have for the children today, ranging from age 6 to 16. My daughter was a part of phase one League of Young Leaders. When she started, I think she was somewhere around 7 or 8 years old. And since then, whatever discipline she has learned in this young leaders, all the healthy habits what she has learned in this young leaders, she is now 16 years old and she is implementing most of it. Let it be eating salads, reading a book, making her timetable, each and everything she has been doing. So this is what all I had to share, and back to you, Shailaja. Thank you.